You're listening to Built to Convert, the podcast where growth-minded marketers, founders, and creators come to level up. No hype, no guesswork, just bold insights that drive results. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Tyler Lane, founder of Session Interactive and host of Built to Convert, where I talk with growth-minded leaders in healthcare, tech, e-commerce, and finance. We dig into how data, marketing, and strategy come together to help organizations make smarter decisions and scale with purpose in today's digital world. Thanks for tuning into this special episode where we take a look back at some of our favorite moments from previous conversations. It's brought to you by Session Interactive, a performance marketing agency that helps businesses turn complex data into clear strategy. From SEO and analytics to paid media and content, Session zeroes in on what truly drives growth: smarter decisions and better user experiences. Known for their collaborative approach and measurable results, they partner with forward-thinking companies across industries to solve digital challenges and turn them into opportunities. Learn more at sessioninteractive.com. Now let's hear some top moments from past conversations.
Well, I'm a little biased there because as the CMO, I'm going to think marketing comes in all of it because we really are building those expectations as well as that preference, as well as the awareness. So we're really taking everybody through the entire funnel. One thing I'll start with is I do think credit unions as a whole, because we're nonprofit and we're giving back the proceeds to our members in the form of better rates, better fees, more service channels, more delivery. I think there's an accountability between credit unions and their members that doesn't exist with lots of other just brands in the universe. That said, I think it's marketing's job to tell that story. And we talk a lot about Navy Federal in the context of talking about our value, the value that we deliver to our members, which is our savings in the ways we talked about, as well as our values. And the values often come from the people that we serve. And whatever your defined membership is, how you're really uniquely, what you're doing unique to them and for them, and how you're showing up for them consistently throughout their journeys.
I think it goes back to, because the goal isn't just transactions, it's the financial relevance that I spoke to. So I don't think that living your mission more, it doesn't remove the need for performance. I think it changes how your performance is defined and deployed. So moving toward that brand style is having everybody on board to understand what exactly our personality is and who we are. I think that's something with every credit union that they kind of suffer with. There are brands out there that you know what it is. You just know what it is. I'm not comparing us to McDonald's or anything like that. I'm just saying when you see it, you know it. Your members should be able to do that. So should your internal members. So when you say brand lifestyle, that's what I think of. I think that as marketers, we not only need to be living the brand, we need to understand how our membership sees our brand. And if our brand were a person and it walked down the street, would one of our members recognize it, and how would they acknowledge that?
Yeah. So I think this actually applies to kind of both spaces I was in, that there are the products, there is the price, there's always that, but I'm a believer that it's much more about the people. And when we think even about like what behavioral science has proved, that we think we're really rational, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, we make decisions emotionally and then we justify them with facts. So how do we tap into that to help someone either feel less stressed, not left out, feel like they've got it, while also having them act and do the things we want them to do? So I kind of always like cringe when I see price as the only factor that like a campaign's built on, because it's like, yeah, that's one thing, but that's not sustainable to compete on that forever. When your product's a commodity, how do you differentiate yourself resonating with people? And that is so much more important.
When I talk about relevance, I like to talk about the strategies that you will hear leaders within our movement discussing. Talk about brand, talk about experience, talk about the digital approach. And frequently, if you talk to a senior leader about what they're doing in a year or over the next 3 years, they'll say, okay, well, this year's about digital. And next year's about brand. And the following year's about experience. And our perspective is that all three matter, because when you get somebody's attention, if you've got an exceptional brand and people are interested in you, and then their digital experience of the organization is like it's 1998 and they're wondering why you don't care about that, you might not get another shot. Or if you focused really heavily on the in-person or interactive experience and whatever mechanism that may come, and then the brand is very dated, again, people will have questions. All three of those strategies really have to come together. And, we've done a terrible job as an industry of telling our story. I recently was heading out to talk about a CUSO we stood up to ensure that we are relevant and that people know about credit unions. And I hopped in the Uber, and the Uber driver asked me what I was doing there. And I said I was going to speak at a credit union conference. And he asked me what? And I said a credit union conference. And he asked, what's a credit union? And that refrain is so common. And honestly, I'm tired of us laughing about it, because while it is a very common story, it is preventing us from being relevant. And if people don't know who we are and the impact that we can make, we aren't going to be around we're celebrating our 75th year this year, the next 75 years.
Thanks for listening to Built to Convert. If you're serious about growth, don't just listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for new episodes that drop straight into your feed. Until next time, keep building.